I feel like a CEO of my very successful coaching business, which I am. There's a pride and confidence in saying that because what I feel on the inside is now matched on the outside with the branding I created with you, the everything that I have learned, the branding, how to use Flowdesk, and a website.
Hello, I'm Debbie Shadid, the host of the Life Coach Business Building Podcast. If you are ready to have more clients in your life coach business, then you're in the right spot. Each week, I'm going to teach you super simple strategies to grow your business without feeling overwhelmed and without spending money on paid ads. Now, if that sounds interesting, stick around and let's get started. Hey, welcome to today's podcast. I am very excited to introduce you to another Debbie, my friend and client, Debbie. She is a weight loss coach. Debbie, I just want you to tell us all about you, who it is you help, and what you do. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Debbie. I think, Debbie, we're taking the name out in style. People don't name their children Debbie anymore. They need to.
It's going to come back, Debbie. I swear these old-fashioned names come back, and I don't know when it will be, but Debbie's will be popular again.
Debbie's will be back in style.
That's right.
So I am a weight loss empowerment coach. I help women not only believe that they can, I help them achieve lasting weight loss. And how do I know how to do it? I've lost 100 pounds and I've maintained that weight loss for almost 4 years. So I was definitely a woman who had tried every diet gimmick out there. And I honestly, at 240 pounds plus, I had decided that it was easier to keep gaining weight than to try losing weight until I found a life coach and my whole life changed. So I like to help other women learn that they really can lose their weight without restriction and from a place of love and compassion.
All right. So you said you found a life coach. Do tell, because most people would think you found the right diet. So tell us
Oh,
about that.
yeah. So, all these things come up in our Facebook feeds so often, and I always like, how did this end up here? But I got this was almost 6 years ago, so it was fit and fat at the time, but Corinne Crabtree popped up in my Facebook feed, and I was like, life coach? I don't know what that is. And Corinne Crabtree, she cusses and all these things, but she also told me in a way that nobody else has explained it to me before that it isn't the food that I'm eating. It's the thoughts that get me to eating the food. And it's really figuring out the why I am eating. And I think for me, that was such a huge switch. And I think also to having somebody who even told me that just because I always thought it doesn't mean I always have to think it. Like we're in charge of our thoughts. And so it wasn't the right diet. It was the right way to look at my life and what I wanted to achieve.
So just because you always thought it didn't mean you had to keep thinking about it or
Yeah.
thinking it. So tell me how that relates to your weight loss story.
I think, we all, especially if you grew up in the 80s or 90s, it was all about low fat, cut out the carbs, cut out this. And we went into diets like having the last meal the night before, eating everything out of the refrigerator because we were never going to be able to have it again. And that's what I learned is that the carbs aren't what is bad. It's not the fat that is bad, not even bad or good. That's the
Yeah.
problem. It was the amount of food I was putting into my mouth and what I was trying to solve for. So just because I always thought I had to cut out carbs to lose weight doesn't mean it was true. I can eat carbs. I do eat carbs. And
Yeah.
so it's just learning little things that we've thought that we can change.
So you're talking about like restrictive free weight loss.
Yes, absolutely. You know what? There's not anything that I do not have that I'll eat. I love everything. I will not eat tripe. Sorry to you tripe lovers, but I don't eat it because of restriction. I don't eat it because I just don't like it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I eat all the foods. If I like them, I eat them. I just don't eat all of them.
Yeah. Oh, so good. Well, I love weight loss. The coaches that do weight loss and around mindset and what you're talking about, the mindset of why you are heavy to begin with. And really just those few shifts that's made a difference for me too. So I love the work you're doing. All right, let's talk just briefly about what you're doing here with me. How did you end up in my circle, and how did you end up working with me?
Another Corinne Crabtree connection. So
Yeah.
I went to the No BS Business Boot Camp in Tennessee last June, got to meet you and had great time with you at dinner. You gave me a card, you shared a little bit about what you did, and I'm like, oh, I'm not businessy. So I do things organic, but thank you for talking to me. But I took your card and it sat on my bedside table, I think until we finally connected, which
Yeah.
was, almost a year later. So it was through that avenue. And then my friend Tabitha had mentioned that she was working with you, and I could see the changes that were coming about in her and her work. So I'm like, you know what, this just might be something I need to look into. And I am so thankful that I did, because I would not be where I am today without what I've done with you.
Well, I love it. I mean, we've had so much fun, but what does I'm not businessy mean to you?
Uh, so I will tell you exactly what it means. I am organic, Debbie. I mean, all the business is just going to come to me because I smile and I hand out candy and I say happy things. That's how it is in my business here in New Hampshire. I work in real estate and I'm able to make those connections with people. When you become a life coach on this grand stage of the World Wide Web, you need help in that area. And my belief was, I don't need the help. It's all going to come about again organically. And really, what I realized that that meant is I was afraid and I
Oh,
didn't want to do everything on the World Wide Web because I didn't know how. Like I had no idea how to do all the things that I saw other people doing. Like I just thought it wasn't for me. So I stepped into my belief bigger that it had to come organically because I didn't know any other way.
interesting. Well, and look, I think you're the queen of doing both. I mean, I think that the business shifts that you've made are phenomenal, and we can talk about
Thank
those.
you.
But I love it that you are willing to just go out there and pass out the candy, as you said, like you're willing to go out there. I want to mention that you started a podcast that I didn't even know you were going to do. Like, we hadn't even had a conversation about it. And all of a sudden, I see she's got a podcast. And I'm like, a podcast? I didn't even know where to find it because it wasn't like you didn't have a website yet. You didn't have, I'm like, how? But that's what I love about you, Debbie. You woke up, you wanted to do a podcast. You're like, all right, I'll figure this out. Let's do it. And I'm like, we have resources to help you with that, Debbie. But you
So
just did it. And it's perfect. It's
thank you.
perfect. Yes.
And I do, and that's what I love about what you offer. There are so many resources and so easy to find on the website. I tend to be a little bit of, I don't want to say, hate because I'm a Debbie Downer. We're Debbie Downers. I don't want to say messy Marvins, but I mean, that's kind of how I am. Like I figure it out. If I have an idea, I figure out how to make it happen. And I was posting on my blog one day and noticed that it had a podcast label at the top. I'm like, all right, let's see how we do that. And I just did. So, I mean, if I don't try, I'm not going to know. So I keep trying.
Okay, that is so much fun. Let's back up and say, what have you accomplished since we've been working together, which is just really a short time? And what would you say out of what you've accomplished has been the biggest like shift in your business?
I am definitely going to say that the confidence with my message has
Yeah.
been the biggest shift. I in my messiness that I am, sometimes there's not consistency because when you've got a bunch of little ideas everywhere, they're all kind of out there in a bubble. And I think that I know that has been such a gift to me is to having just to be a little bit more organized. Like I know the message that I want to share, but I was picking too many different variations of that message. And then, I mean, Canva. I see people, my daughter sent me some things that she did on Canva for me, I don't know, like almost a year ago. And I thought, how did that child learn how to do that? That's amazing. And then I learned from you. And it's like, I'm amazing now. Like it's the things
Yeah.
that I just didn't believe that I could do. So the messaging, being creative with Canva and Flowdesk. I mean, all these terms that I've heard people use and like they are never going to be a part of my life because I don't know how. And now I know how, and I'm learning, and learning with you is not scary. It is honestly, it's hand holding. You know what I mean? Like if we don't understand it, we reach out, and there are so many, not just on the team, but my counterparts in our groups are also very helpful with each other too, which is great.
Yeah, so much fun. Well, the marketing message is like the cornerstone after you decide your niche. It's like the cornerstone of everything. And I do think for everybody that we work with, there's like an identity shift. Like I am in business and I know what to say now. There's this identity shift change. And you're right. For you, we were able to get it really narrowed down to where specifically you can say the same thing about who you're helping and what you're helping them with.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that it also helped me to be more, I am definitely relatable because I share a lot of my before and after pictures, but I didn't have a good, not a great way to say it. And that's like you said, it's the cornerstone. And now with that, it just opens up so many more paths for messaging just in that message.
Yeah, you are really good about sharing your own journey because you're still on it. Like I've been watching, like I think you had pictures of food and you showed like what you had eaten and you talked about like you ate off plan yesterday and it wasn't a big deal because you didn't realize this and you chose that. And I'm like, that's just so approachable. It feels so like doable to think about it the way you show it.
Well, and I think that that's what is so important. I mean, I was thinking today as I was driving along in my weight loss journey, because it has been really 6 years since I started. And when you're in maintenance, you're still on a journey. Doesn't
Yeah.
stop. You are still continuing to think about it because you need to. And I was thinking about how many perfect days I had in the last 6 years, and none of them were perfect. We're human, right? So there are going to be times that we don't show up the way that we want, but it doesn't mean we wait until Monday. It doesn't mean that we throw in the towel and we're done. We just make the next best decision and just keep going. That's the most important part of any journey, is that we keep moving forward no matter how we showed up a minute ago or a week ago.
Yeah. And the fact that you're not doing it perfectly, again, just gives such freedom for everybody else. Like, how in the world did she lose 100 pounds? She's kept it off 6 years. And also, I love the fact that you're saying you're still on the journey. Like, you don't just, there's not this magic thing that happens where all of a sudden you still don't desire to overeat or you still don't want to pick the bad thing to eat. And there's no bad foods, but you know what I'm saying.
But
Pick the
yeah,
thing that you didn't plan on eating. It still is, that's life, right? That's every day of your life that there's going to be circumstances like that.
absolutely. And, this weekend on one day, I ate a single serve ice cream. I ate 6 Rice Krispie treats. I mean, I ate all of the things, but I spent time figuring out why I ate them. I was tired, and food still does not solve for exhaustion, no matter how many times I try to make it. It doesn't. I needed sleep and not food. And so it's just those things and that knowledge that will help us all move forward as we're losing weight.
Debbie, that is my number one overeating when problem is that I'm tired. And when I work late, I just literally think I should be eating popcorn or something like that because I'm eating because I'm tired and I'm trying to just fuel myself. It's a terrible habit. It's like,
Yeah.
just go to bed.
But our brain is so used to thinking, okay, so we're tired, we get popcorn. And it's just stopping it in that moment to just, you know what, I'm tired. This is not going to happen. And it's definitely practice, right? I mean, the more we practice it, the better it will get. I mean, it's so used to thinking, I'm tired, I want popcorn. No, I just want to go to sleep. It's a conversation, and I think that that is one of the greatest things I have learned, is that our brain is talking to us all the time, but we're
Uh-huh.
not answering her. We need to hear her and answer her, and it'll be such a different outcome when we do.
This just boils down to why people really need support. I think the day in and day out things that you face when you're trying to lose weight, you need to be able to talk to somebody and get some perspective on, like, okay, that's interesting. And there's nothing wrong that you did. And also, you could consider this, right? Is that kind of the way you work with
Yes.
clients?
Absolutely, because we don't see coaches have coaches, right? We
Yes.
coaches because we need them. And society doesn't know the importance, I think, overall of the importance of coaching, but it's somebody just to watch your thoughts and to see the things that when you realize it, you're like, oh, that should be common sense. But it isn't always because we're so preoccupied with everything else that our brains just don't always come up with that. But it's like a support system, a partner
Yeah.
with
Well, I mean, it's just like the popcorn thing. Like, so often, most of us, I know to check myself, right? I'm a coach too. So I know
yeah.
that. But most people and most of my life, I didn't check myself. I just went and made popcorn and came back up and kept working. It wasn't
Yeah.
like, wait, am I hungry? No. I have some free will here. Do I want to eat it? Do I not want to eat it? Because you get to decide either way.
You
So,
do. Yeah. So if you want it, have it. And like your reasons for having it, right? If
yeah.
that's what you need to do.
So you have already been coaching people. So I don't want to diminish the fact that you've already been successful.
Yes.
But kind of in the time frame, it seems like, at least from my perspective, that you came in and you got a lot of stuff done really fast. I mean, you reworked on your branding, you got your website up, you did your messaging. Like I said, you launched the podcast that surprise you got
Yeah.
on social media. And not that you had not worked with clients, but you sold a substantial private coaching client of
Yeah.
that kind of nature for the very first time.
So very, very excited. And you mentioned this, and I forgot to mention this. When I came in, I didn't have a logo. I didn't have any branding. So now I have branding. I have sold a client. I've got a few that I work with, and I also am starting my second group coaching program coming up. So I have definitely my business has leveled up since joining, which is so exciting for me.
Well, okay, so that's what I want to talk about. You are getting ready to launch your group program. And again, this is a proven program that you've already had success with before. It's
Yes.
opening up, and I have to just like let me be the devil's advocate here. You're opening it right before the holidays. Why would I want to join a group program around food and wait right before the holidays, Debbie? Why would I want to do that?
Well, I could almost say, why wait until January 1st? And I say that because so often we all go into, again, last meals, December 31st, New Year's Eve. I'm going to eat all the things, I'm going to drink all the things. And January 1st, I am starting no matter. And I think the second, the fifth, the 20th, whenever it is that we stop, we forget all about it. So instead of going into the holidays afraid of what weight you're going to gain and how you're not going to, if you've lost weight, you're not going to maintain it. This is the opportunity to not only have your back and support yourself with me as part of the group program, to prove that you can go through the holidays without gaining weight. You can go through the holidays and show up how you want to show up, because the holidays are about so much more than food. But when we think about them, Thanksgiving, we got to eat all the things. We can have turkey any day we want. It's not just the fourth Thursday of the month, right? But in our heads, that's what Thanksgiving to New Year's Eve, it's just food. But we're going to look at it a different way. There's food, but there's also how we can show up for ourselves and be women who lose and maintain weight during the holiday. And we don't wait for Monday. We don't wait till January 1st. We start now.
Oh, I love it. And you already said earlier that it's like, oh crap, I've blown it. I'll wait till Monday. It's like, no, whatever that conversation is over what you just ate, it's like it just restarts right then, right? I mean,
Yes.
I'm not using the right words, I'm sure, but it's we're not waiting for anything. It's just life and
Yeah, we just make our next best decision. That's
next
it. We
best
don't have to wait
decision.
for anything. We wait for ourselves to decide.
So we'll make sure that we leave your website. We'll make sure that people have a way to have a conversation with you to find out if this is a fit. Who is this really for, though? Who would be an ideal person to come and work with you?
Listen, I know what it feels like. If you look at me today, I have lost 100 pounds. If you look at my before pictures, you will clearly see that I understand where you are coming from. I know what it's like to get those looks from people. Like, look at her. I fell in an entryway of an office building with a gentleman right behind me who didn't offer to help me. He just kept going. I know how that feels. This is for women who feel that they just don't have a hope. They've tried everything and they just haven't figured it out now yet. It's for women who want to lose weight from a place of love and compassion, because at this point, the self beatdowns, the restriction hasn't worked. Let's try a different way. And I'm such a believer in community, and that's why I want to do the group programs, because who better to share and celebrate with than people who are on the same journey as you are? And that's who it's for. It's for women who are just, you got enough hope left that you're willing to try one more time, and I am ready to walk that journey with you.
Debbie, I forgot about the story of you. I mean, I've seen the picture of you with your foot in the boot and the cane. I've seen that picture,
Yeah.
and you guys should go follow her on Instagram. We'll make sure we have those details too, so you can do that. But I forgot that you fell and somebody walked right past you.
Yeah. It's amazing to me the way we are dehumanized. It's interesting because there's a lot of assumptions made for women who are overweight, and there are a lot of assumptions made for women and men, humans who are underweight. It's like there's a lot of judgment, and it'd be nice if people could just look at us as humans despite what our exterior is. But I also know that losing weight isn't to make everybody else happy with our exterior. It's so we love ourselves. And you know what? That number is not going to make us love ourselves. And I think that that's what's so important about weight loss journey, is learning to love yourself where you are, because we are lovable. We just forget that.
So good. Okay, well, let's switch back here for just a moment. What would you say the biggest takeaway has been then from our work together? I want to go back to the I'm not businessy and I want to do this organically. I don't know if there's some takeaway around that, because that's such an interesting thing that nobody's ever said to me before.
Yeah, there is definitely. So we had a call last week, you and I, and you showed me Flow Desk. Now, it was so exciting. Like, I just sat there, probably not as like just observing what you were showing me. But then as soon as we were done, I went right downstairs and I created 2 Flow Desks
I know,
things
it
to
was so
share to
good.
you, share with you. And I feel like a CEO of my very successful coaching business, which I am. There's a pride and confidence in saying that, because what I feel on the inside is now matched on the outside with the branding I created with you, the everything that I have learned, the branding, how to use Flowdesk, how
Uh,
to
your website.
capture, yeah, how to, and a website. Now, you teach people how to build a website. You show us, but I knew that with my schedule and my technical abilities, that building a website, though you show us how, was not something I wanted to
Yeah.
do. But Christine built me this most beautiful website that just captures everything that I feel and who I am. So, and there's been so many of the blueprint and the roadmap for us. I mean, it's just, you help take the fear out of the learning. And in removing the fear, you opened up my wanting to learn, because the fear was removed, and I knew that I was in the right place to learn what I needed to.
Yeah, so good. Thank you so much for that. I'm not going to say any of it's easy, but like when you can slow down and you can have somebody show you Flow Desk, and listen, y'all listening, we only spent an hour, no, not even an
Not
hour
even.
going through Flow Desk. And the fact that you were able to create something after that's pretty phenomenal, without going back to, because you didn't have a replay of our videos. So
Yeah,
without going back to that, that's pretty unbelievable. But things actually are truly a little bit easier than what we think they are. It's just there's so much confusion and so much noise out there online about how hard it is, and you have to have this and you have to have that, that you almost approach everything so overwhelmed and expecting it to be so hard that you don't even try.
you don't even try. And one of the things that I had looked at Flowdesk just because I didn't know what it was. And the videos that you have on the website, that just a little short
Yeah.
videos and sections are so helpful because you just listen to those, it takes you through step by step. So I think that I don't want to say dumbed it down because there is nothing dumbed down about
Yeah.
it from the content portion, but for someone like me who I'm basic, right?
We tried to
Yeah,
do that, Debbie. We tried to make it as simple and short as possible.
and you succeeded
Yes.
because it's not overwhelming. It is doable and it's exciting to want to do it,
Yeah.
honestly.
We have a tech training that you were not able to attend, and it was about email marketing and Flowdesk. And so we were talking in general about what should your weekly newsletter be, what would include, how would you set it up. And so we were in Flowdesk and I was showing how to do it. And I was saying, but look, there's some features in here nobody needs to worry about. Like there's things in Flowdesk that not one of you should be doing or even trying to learn how to do because you don't even need it. There's things in there that I would not use that, again, if you start trying to use things that are beyond, that don't serve your business, you get all tangled up and stressed out again and overwhelmed and things don't work. It's like, no, you can keep things very simple and very basic and still accomplish what it is you want to do, which is send emails.
Yes. Yep. And I think that's the key. You just make it simple so it's doable and that we can. And I will say that it is under promised and over delivered. Like
Oh, thank
I
you.
and it for me, that is the biggest part. I would rather somebody not sell me on all that is there that's amazing and put it forth. And that is, I mean, I knew it was going to be amazing anyway. I just didn't know to the level because it's made me learn to do things I just never thought was possible. So thank you.
Yeah. Oh, you're so welcome. Well, you're my dream girl to work with. I want more of you because it's so fun when somebody is willing to do this stuff. It's so fun when somebody is willing to ask questions. That is our like we're thrilled to answer questions. We're thrilled to say, "Hey, have you considered this? Have you considered that? Don't forget to do this." Like right before this podcast, you guys, I mentioned to Debbie, we don't want to be talking about launching your group program as if you haven't done it before. And she was like, oh,
Right.
yeah. Because, like, I
Yeah.
mean, that's a big deal. She's already done this before. It's not an unproven, untested, like fly by the seat of her pants. No, she's already done this before. So that would be something that I would see that it's such a small thing that I told you, but it will change. I saw a light bulb go off, and all the marketing that you do around this between now and the time you start in the next couple of weeks will be different because I bet you'll be talking about that.
And you know what? That is so true. And I would not have even caught that, which is so wonderful that you did, because you're right, it will change how I move forward. And one of the things that I did not say, I am a woman who has a career that I work during the day, and I'm not able to make the calls that we have, but the replays are phenomenal. So if you're worried because you may not be able to be on the live calls, it has not prevented me from moving forward. It hasn't. I have the opportunity to listen to those at my convenience, which I think is also such a great tool to be able to have to use when I need to.
I should tell you, Debbie, we have our private podcast ready. And so it's all done. I've made my first episode too, but the private podcast is every single piece of content, the replays, and an extra message, inspiration message, like kick in the pants from me every week and one from Thais. So you'll be able to put your earbuds in and listen on, you can listen to our stuff in your car on the way to work, but we're going to make it easy. It'll be in your Apple podcast feed, let's say. So it'll be
Love.
much easier for you to listen to. So it is all done. I just need to send out the email so everybody can log in and get it. So
Oh, that's so exciting.
always trying to make,
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you, easier for you guys. Well, I also just want to mention that Debbie did take advantage of what we're calling our Elite VIP. We just in the last month or so, I thought, there are some people, Debbie said she works full time, and there are some people who have big goals and they can't do what they want to do as fast as they want to. Debbie was one of the people that I reached out to personally and decided to start doing some private coaching that I have not done in, I would say, maybe a year, maybe a year and a half. I need to look back and see if it's been a long time. It's been really fun and very fulfilling to do just a few sessions with you, a few sessions with two or three other people. I remembered how much I loved the private sessions. So that's been fun and a good deal for you because you do work full time.
Right. And it's so good. Like I didn't even know what project-based coaching was, and now I
Yeah.
learned. And it's fun because there are things that like I just need that extra little bit of hand holding.
Yeah.
My hand is already held, but just to focus on launching this and getting better at the tools that I'm learning
Yeah.
to use. So having that opportunity was amazing.
Well, super fun. All right. We're going to wrap it up. Is there anything else that you want to tell people about your approach to weight loss, about the opportunity to work with you, about why they should address it, anything?
I would just like to say, ladies, if you think you cannot do it, you can. I promise you that your weight loss goals are achievable. We're going to do it in a totally different way than you've ever done it
Mhm.
before. If you have lived with restriction and the gimmicks, those are going to be gone bye-bye because at 80 years old, we're not going to be having meal plans delivered probably. I'm going to show you how to lose your weight the way you live your life. And I'm going to also work with you to know you are worth loving and believing in no matter what that number is on the scale. You are worth it now. So I'd love to work with you and then see where you grow to. I'm excited for it.
Well, and I'll add to this and say, you guys have listened to the podcast. You know how much I love life coaching. I mean, I think it is my whole mission is to help women who are coaches be able to figure out how to market their business, because I think every single time somebody gets coached and they find out that they can change the way they see the world, like the clients that you coach around weight loss, the life coaching that you will give them to where it won't change their weight, it'll change their whole life.
Absolutely.
It'll change the relationships they have with their family. It will change their kids. I mean, I don't know how you even put a value on coaching. And that is what you are really doing with people. It's not just weight loss, it's life coaching, which is
It is.
mind blowing.
Yeah, I have, since finding life coach, I have healed relationships with my children. I have not had a drink in almost 6 years. I was able to approach the things in my life with open eyes and awareness, which just allowed me to change the things that didn't work for me
Yeah.
in my life and to find a better path. And part of that has been working with you and Thais and your entire team. So if there are people who, well, you want to work with me for growing your life, I mean, working with you has been just life-changing as well. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, there's some mutual love. The Debbies love each other. So, uh,
Yes.
if you need to build your business, y'all know where to find me. If you want to get yourself on the right path with your weight, it is for sure worth having what I call a comfortable conversation with Debbie. She's not an arm twister. Go find out what it looks like to approach, that extra weight that you're carrying. Go find out to approach it in a new way and just have an exploratory conversation to see if what Debbie has to offer is different and if it's for you, because you'll never know until you talk to her. So have a call with her.
Yeah, have a call with me. We'll have some
Yeah.
coffee or tea. It'll be nice.
All right, you guys, thanks so much. And Debbie, thanks again for being an amazing client. Anybody listening that's a friend of Debbie's, I want to be your friend too. So connect with me. I would love to support you in any part of your business. So y'all have an amazing week. We'll talk to you soon. Okay, ladies, that is it for today. Before we go, I want to invite you to head over to debbieshadid.com. I have this incredible Canva training specifically designed for life coaches, where I'm going to teach you how to use Canva to create beautiful graphics to market your life coaching business. All right, have an amazing week. I'll talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.